Good morning. I'm Rhys Evans, Head of Technology and Services for Hart Square. We are a non-profit technology consultancy who work with our clients to either do better things or do things better. An inherent part of that is working with the organisations who supply products or services to the sector, and we have done that every day for the last 11 years. But we've changed the way that we refer to these organisations from vendors or suppliers to be partners. And that reflects a changing dynamic between these organisations in the sector, but it's also a part of our mission to promote mindsets that result in more positive, sustainable, long-term working relationships. But what difference does a name make anyway? And were they not always partners? Well, I think in terms of business software, things used to be a little bit simpler and a little bit more fixed. Broadly, a software house produced a product that either did something or it didn't, and therefore the technology selection process was a lot more of a tick box exercise with a little bit of salesman smoke and mirrors thrown in. Relationships mattered and there was definitely mutual interest, but it was at a lot more of a distance. If we cut to 2020, the world has moved on. Languages, methodologies, approaches, they've all changed to allow people who deliver software products and services to be a lot more flexible and be empowered to shape their solutions to their clients' needs. So we zone in more on the people behind the technology. Functionality is still part of the conversation and it always will be, but we're a lot more interested in the chemistry and the capability of the people we're working with. So our selection processes are a lot more about showcasing organizations in terms of what their strengths and what they're really good at, but also what their limitations and what their challenges are. And what kind of relationship are we seeking? We're looking for one that is able to push organizations out of their comfort zone, challenge conventions and old ways of thinking, and allow them to think about ways of working in new and interesting ways. It's really about creating a deeper chemistry and a bit more of a shared vision, and to look at values such as trust, commitment, and collaboration. But are we kidding ourselves? Is it really going to happen? Are we naive to think that we're going to move these relationships from a more transactional buyer-seller relationship? Is that partner really going to care about your vision? Well, there certainly are challenges. For example, there are some technology vendors who are happy to be exactly that. They want you to buy their products, they want you to like it, ideally, they want you to pay on time, and they want you to talk nicely to other people in the sector. And to be honest, when they're upfront about that, that's absolutely fine. But equally, there are clients that are still stuck in a supplier mentality. I think when you've had a lot of projects and failed relationships, it can leave behind behaviours that can undermine the most budding of collaboration with a new partner. So, do we question the change of terminology at Hart Square? Definitely. I think on the darker days and the many of the projects that we run, there are times where we think about giving up the collaboration ghost and defaulting to a more colder transactional relationship. Everybody would know where they stand. It would be a little bit simpler and cleaner. But we keep the faith. It's about our values, about trust, honesty, commitment. The main reason to persevere is that when it works, it's an absolutely priceless thing. You have two organisations who are on their game, delivering good value, well-funded projects that really seek to raise the client's game and to push them to new heights. I think relationships deepen and those bumps in the road are much easier to handle because there's a lot more trust and therefore they're handled more gracefully. But it doesn't come naturally. It takes dedication and perspiration to achieve. Each relationship is different, but broadly, if you can look at your own limitations and shortcomings before you point them out in the other parties, if you can be realistic in your expectations and spend more time looking forward rather than back, then you're broadly on the right path. So it's a challenge we take on, and more join in with us than don't. There will always be bumps in the road, but we are always going to be looking for partners rather than vendors for our clients.